Wait for her to join. She's connected.
Hi.
And there she is. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
You like me, you got so many Instagrams, you can come from different angles. So I had to
I
make
was
sure.
like, wait, I don't want to go live on that page.
I was like,
Go live
oh,
on
I actually gonna do that one. Yeah, your page.
my page.
So how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm hanging in there just like everybody else. Thriving actually, doing well.
I'm just happy that I was able to get you on. I know you have a schedule of schedules, multiple things you have going on. But let me ask you something.
On Saturday though.
I know. I'm glad. That's why I'm happy you did it. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this though, and I'm gonna start you with this question: has the quarantine made you less or more creative during this time?
That's an interesting question because I'm already very creative.
Right.
Extremely creative. That's where I thrive. You know what? It's actually made me more creative, and that's such a good question because my Academy of Creative Coaching is all about creative life solutions, and I have had to come up with some seriously creative life solutions over the past couple of months. So yeah, it has for sure.
What's been the what's been the biggest adjustment you have to do? I know, like, you used to tell me your schedule, and I used to be like, how? Like you would travel to go be a professor, and you would do the academy coaching, and then you would do this and that.
Right.
Now that travel has been slowed down, what's the biggest adjustment you had to make in your schedule?
Well, so I'll start positive. It's been great not to be running around and to be able to be stationary and to be able to, not have to just constantly be, going. Not to say that I'm not busy, but I can feel the difference between having a lot of things to do at home and having to jump in a car and go downtown for a meeting and sit in traffic and, go to the gym. And, so now everything happens here, and I actually am able to get much more done this way. But I think the biggest adjustment, and it's not in a negative way, but it's definitely been an adjustment, is working from home when everybody else is working from home. Because I work from home all the time by myself. But now my daughter, she was going to school. My roommate, she's working from here. And so it's adjusting to having a house of people when I'm used to just, quiet. I can do whatever I want. There's nobody here.
Right. Yeah, trust me, my house is always on craziness around here. So I get that. But let me ask you this. I always wonder this about your personality because of the fact that you go out a lot. I don't know more. Are you more of an introvert or extrovert when it comes to your personality? Are you more okay with staying inside more? Or is it that because people think that just because you're busy and you're doing a lot of things, that means you're an extrovert type personality, but that is not always true. Yeah. Sometimes I know you like your privacy, you like your quiet time too. So which personality are you more of?
I am definitely more of an introvert for sure. And sorry, somebody called me. I should have put the phone.
No, it's good.
Not disturbed. But I am definitely an introvert, and I've been loving this process. And I hate to say it too, exclaim it too loudly from the rooftops because I know there's people who are really struggling. I know the extroverts are hurting, but I love it because I do my best work when I'm able to be in my own head. And so even after meetings, I've had to extrovert for a while, and then so I have to go find some refuel, just the me time, as a result. So I know definitely an introvert.
You've talked about, I always talk about juggling your life and things like that. What has been some of, because you also, what I think that you're a great person to speak to, because I know about your show and you do your show and things like that. But what have been some of the things that you've been trying to help people with as they've come to you? Because I know that, Dr. Pam, we always find, you are a great leader and mentor to a lot of people. What's some of the things that people have come to you about during these troubled times that they're facing right now?
Yeah, and then people have been coming to me a lot lately, a whole lot. And I'm still trying to, so if you've reached out to me in the last couple of days and I haven't responded, it has been a crazy last couple of days. So I got you. I saw your message. But a lot of people have been feeling motivated to start their businesses. Like, what do I do? What's the first step? Here's an idea I have. I don't know what to do next. So I've actually been thinking maybe I need to do a webinar or something because I've had enough people ask that it would be easier just to tell all of them at once. So here's kind of you know, what you might want to consider. So definitely that. Also, just the fear of the unknown is a real common theme, I think. And what I try to tell people is survive today. And then when you get to tomorrow, survive tomorrow. Don't think about 6 months from now if it's going to cause you anxiety. You know, yes, plan ahead and think about 6 months from now if you are strategizing you know, a plan for your business, for your life, and so forth. But if you look at 6 months from now and you freak out, just focus on today until you can get to a point where you can think beyond today without the anxiety that comes with it. Because I get it. You know, I think one of our most the most difficult thing to deal with is the unknown. We like to have some level of control of what's going to happen, and we really don't know right now.
And that's been the biggest thing I've seen a lot of. Because how did you pivot? Because a lot of people, like I said, there's a lot of people I consider you a great peer to have because you've always been one to know what you've got planned for the next few months and 6 months. But what was the biggest pivot you had to make when this came down and you realized everything was shutting down? What was the biggest thing? Was it schedule? Was it family? What was the biggest thing that you had to pivot on to make to get ready for this, what we're going through now?
Motherhood. So, you know, my daughter and I both have really busy schedules. I am constantly, you know, doing projects and so forth, but she's also in dancing. She's also, you know, she's got quite the schedule as well.
Yeah, I saw the TikToks.
Oh, the TikToks, yeah. And I am not the dancer, but she is. And so at 4 o'clock every day, I shut my day down. This was prior to COVID. And I knew it was time to get her to where she needed to go and to try to be mom and focus on mom and not being all the other things that I am. And so the biggest pivot has been, we are both here all day, every day. And now we're not going to all of these places. How do we make sure home stays the place that we like to be? How do we make sure that home is still fun, that home is like not prison, that home is a place where we grow and we thrive? And so we've got games. We have I bought badminton for the backyard. We play horseshoes in the backyard.
Right.
You know, there's just trying to make sure that we kill the monotony and keep home alive. So that has been the biggest pivot, I guess, personally speaking. Business wise, with the coaching academy, I think we were phenomenal in our pivot in instantly switching to online. Our coach trainings have happened all over the country, all over the world. And we had to go from in person to now we're doing 4 intensive days online, and we have not missed a beat in enrollment, in our delivery of the curriculum. It has just been amazing for us.
That's awesome. And I'm going to get to the academy in a minute, but I want to stay with that because a lot of people are having issues with trying to make sure home is not a place that you don't want to be at, because everything is, make sure.
You froze for a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm back. I can see you now. But everything is now one place: business, work, home, hobbies, all now put into one spot.
Yes.
That's a great thing to talk about. How are you telling people to deal with that? Because I'm sure people come to you, Dr. Pam, how can I make it? And I love the way you say you create other things around the house to make sure it's that way. What are your thoughts on trying to tell people to be able to do that?
Yeah, you know, you have to be really strategic about it. And so you know, try to keep a good amount of outdoor activities. That has to be huge. And, you know, yes, we don't always have great weather all the time, and depending on where you are. But try to keep a great collection of outdoor activities. So the first thing I did is, and look, it doesn't matter what your budget is. You can create outdoor activities with, I've seen people create obstacle courses with household items in the backyard, you know, whatever you need to do. But I bought, you know, tennis stuff, jump ropes. I joined the jump rope challenge. So me and Joya were, I'm saying were because we kind of fell off, but we were jump roping every day. But then I also make sure we have indoor stuff because, you know, there will be rain and thunderstorms. I think for the next 5 days, we've got thunderstorms, you know. And so, you know, so we've got brain stimulating games. We got 2 15 100-word piece puzzles, which I don't know what the heck I was thinking, because we haven't touched those boxes. I'm like, I don't
Oh,
even
them
know.
things drive you crazy.
One thing, because school is out now, that we just did is I just subscribed us to master class. You just see those ads that always
Yes,
go,
yes,
master
yes.
class, and Missy, what's her name? Misty Copeland is doing a class. Joya is a dancer. Simone Biles is doing a class. I'm currently right now in a class with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Nerd Central.
Yeah, yes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's
Oh,
pretty
it's
good.
so good. And so
Yeah.
I figured we will try to maintain some level of learning and structure to some extent. If my daughter's on here, she's laughing at structure because she knows mom is like when it comes to structure. But we're going to at least try to maintain some semblance of learning and structure and play and physical activity throughout the summer, because her being in school was huge for me. I was able to get a lot of work done because they put those poor kids to work.
Yes, they do. We have really learned during this time how important our schools are to us. We took it for granted. Now we're like, okay, we apologize.
We love
make
you.
sure we love all of y'all right now. You listen to the Glaze Chronicles. I got my friend, Dr. Pamela Larde. Did I say that right? Larde?
Yep,
Right.
you sure
Okay.
did.
I just call her Dr. Pam, or Pam for short. Let's talk about the Academy of Creative Coaching.
Okay.
I think it's one of your, you've done a lot of great things, but I think it's one of your greatest creations, founding this. Talk to us about it. What is it? What was it? What made you create it, and what has it done for people who are trying to be creative? Talk to us about it.
Yeah, so I really wanted to create a training program that is not just about getting that piece of paper, because too many people right now are all about, I want the piece of paper, but I wanted it to be also a life-changing experience, because I think the best coaches are the ones who experience transformation themselves. So it was very intentional to make sure that our curriculum is one that is life-changing. So even just I'm rewriting a lot of pieces of the curriculum right now, because I wrote it 6-7 years ago. And actually myself and Dr. Sony, for those of you who know Dr. Sony, we co-wrote a lot of the curriculum ourselves. And so it's like, okay, 6-7 years later, what needs to be, changed, what needs to be updated. And so I'm constantly looking at that, integrating elements such as trauma-informed coaching, because whether or not you're a therapist, you're going to have somebody sitting in your chair who's traumatized, who's experienced trauma. And at least for that conversation, you need to know what to do in addition to referring them to therapy. So the reality is, I bet if I sat down with anybody, everybody's got some type of trauma that is holding them back in some way, shape, or form, whether relationships, workplace, parenthood, whatever that is. So, but yeah, so that's the objective, is it for it to be a life-changing program for people, and very intentionally creating a culture, a company culture, with the principle that I'm borrowing from the Jesuit colleges, which is cura personalis, which means care for the whole person. And so even within the company, our focus is to create situations that do care for the whole person, to allow people to work from home in situations where they may not have been able to, so they don't have to pay for childcare or so forth, because they are able to work from home, allow people the opportunity to travel and teach and do kind of like that lifelong dream of, we had Dubai on the schedule. I think last week was supposed to be South Africa. And so enabling our team to be able to fulfill, lifelong dreams of going out there, speaking, getting paid, coming home like, yeah, I just did that, and so it isn't just about that certification or that piece of paper. It's almost like, that's almost like the bottom of the barrel of objectives, like, okay, yeah, sure, everybody's going to get that. But what are we creating in the process is what's so important to me.
And it's funny, I feel like I've known you through this whole process. How did it talk to me about the start? How many people did you start with to where it is now? Because like you say, you've been traveling, you're in different cities and things like that. And me and you have talked, and I've been like, I don't know if she able to do all this, but it came to fruition. When it started, how many people did you start with? And then the growth of it to now, how did that become?
Yeah, so when I first wanted to start this academy, I reached out to Dr. Sony, who is has a background.
Shout out to Dr. Sony.
Huh?
Shout out to Dr. Sony, our partner. Let's go.
Yes. And so, but she has a psychology background. So I asked, would you be interested in kind of helping to, get this thing off the ground? And so she and I got the curriculum, pulled it together. And before you get accredited, you have to teach one full I guess, sequence of the program and graduate one cohort of people in order to, get the accreditation. So she and I did that, and we taught the entire first cohort, and we went up for accreditation. And lo and behold, we got the approval of the International Coach Federation on the first shot.
Oh,
and
wow.
that never happens. I mean, I know
Right.
coaching schools that have been trying for years and years and years, and they still haven't gotten it. So that was huge, huge validation for the work that we did. So it was the two of us, and as soon as we got that approval from the International Coach Federation, then we felt that it was we'd have more leverage to hire qualified people because we're a school that's under the ICF. So we did just me and her first, and we had a class of, I think there were 6 people who went through that very first program with us. And so now we have a team of probably about 15, 16, and this includes instructors, people at different administrative levels, and so forth. And our classes, I mean, I guess for example, we are running 3 simultaneous classes this week. One that's, international. They're all virtual right now. One that would have been based here in Atlanta, and another one that would have been housed on the campus of a college in Nebraska that wanted us to train their administrative staff. That's huge for us. I used to say, oh, I would love for us to be able to have 2 simultaneous trainings happen. Then we know we've made it.
Right.
At this year, this week, we had 3. Next month, we're looking at having 4 simultaneous, but every single week. And I guess this will kind of drive the point home a little more. This isn't just a simultaneous 3 trainings happening in a row or at the same time for last week. We have trainings every single week, and we're filling seats every single week. And that is just an amazing, amazing blessing.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you this question. What is success to you?
Peace. It truly is. It's peace, where you're not having to worry about where the paycheck is going to come and how much the paycheck is going to cover. You're not having to worry about your personal safety, because your home is maybe not a safe place. You're not having to worry about, how you're treated once you get to work. Are you treated with integrity and dignity? And to me, peace permeates all of that. A lot of peace, if we look at peace in 2 different ways, and I'm not going to try to break it down by percentage, but part of your peace is about your mindset and how you choose to perceive things and receive things and how you choose to approach life. The other part of peace, it has a lot to do with also your reality and your situation and what's going on. And so in both, I guess, from both perspectives, it's important to take proactive measures to protect your peace and to build your peace. There was a time, so not long ago, which is, so mind-blowing, that I wasn't sure how I was going to make ends meet. I had, brought a roommate in, to live with me who was supposed to be paying half of the rent, and I never, ever, ever got a dime from her. So I was like, and that money was supposed to go to pay my son's, his rent for his college. So I was having to pull out of my own money, pay his rent, be short on my own, abandon my credit cards because the house over my head was more important. And that roommate came and went, and I never heard from her again. And so that was kind of, that was really hard. And I didn't have a lot of peace in that time. And I had a lot of medical ailments, because what happens when you're not at peace is that your body is impacted by it. And so to me, success is when you are able to find peace, and in whatever that looks like for you.
Wow. And see, people don't see that because they see all the great things that you're doing. Because one of the things that you do in Tandem Light Press, with that is that, huh?
Yeah, the publishing company.
The publishing company is that you're an author too. Mm-hmm. How many books have you written so far?
I no, I have written, oh gosh, I'll just say six for sake of
6?
time, because I know you have 2 coloring books. I have these 2. I have 2 ebooks, but I also have book chapters, that I've published through different academic, publishers and so forth. So I'll say 6.
6 books. What to be an author and to do that, has that been part of your peace process? Is that peaceful for you, or is
Absolutely.
it something that you feel that you have to do? What is that the process of being an author for you?
It's funny because it does depend on what I'm writing. But for the most part, it is peace for me. The writing is therapeutic. The writing is, I go into, and I'm actually writing curriculum right now for the Coaching Academy, and one of the concepts in the book that I'm looking at is flow, and this idea of when you get into this state of flow, how you're really not there anymore. You're really not in the room anymore. You are just, sort of allowing what comes to you just to kind of flow out. And that's the state that I get into when I'm writing, to the point where I'll go back and read what I wrote the next day. I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? And so when I get into that place, that's one of the best feelings in the world. I absolutely love that.
What have you ever? Is there ever thirst for knowledge? Is a phrase I love, and I know that's something that you have. Do you ever see yourself quenching that thirst? It's always there for you because it looks like every few years I find you creating something else or you doing something else. Like you're saying, you're in the master class with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Tyson. I know who he is, but the
Yeah.
great Tyson.
Yeah. See, I messed it up too. I said no.
Yeah. One of my favorite. I messed him up, but just that knowledge, that thirst for knowledge. How is that for you? I mean, it seems like that's what is that. Does that drive you to?
It does. So when I signed up for this master class, one of the appeals to me is that there's like 250 different courses that you can take throughout the year, and I'm thinking, I don't need any other TV anymore. Like I don't, and this is not to knock series binge watchers at all. I've not been really into a whole lot of the series that people talk about a lot. This Tiger King guy, and I keep hearing about this stuff, but I'm like, nope, I'm gonna turn on my
Right, the master class.
documentaries,
Yeah.
or that's the kind of stuff I binge on, and so I guess that's why I guess I'm still a binger. But those are the things that I binge on. It feeds me, and I get endless ideas from this, especially as a writer. You better believe the next book you're going to see some Neil deGrasse Tyson stuff in there.
It's already, so the book is already being created, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We need to get together. I'm probably gonna write one too, but I need your help. So
Absolutely, and that's another thing I get inboxed about a lot as well.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
The talk show is still going. It's going on. What? This got to be year 5, right?
I think it's year 6.
Year 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about it. I used to be there with you, but now you still keeping it going. Talk about your talk show and what you do with that.
Yeah, so it's the live exchange. Love, politics, intellect is our tagline. I'm really thinking about getting rid of that politics piece because when we first started the show, Obama was president, and politics is fun to talk about.
Yeah, a little different now.
A little different now. So I go real light when I say politics. I say love, politics, intellect. So, but no, when we do talk politics, it's things that really impact our communities. The Ahmaud Arbery case. There's obviously a lot of politics that surround that, and so we don't. I actually resist talking about the president because I feel like he's already getting too much coverage. It's too much nonsense, and and I think that as a media person, my responsibility is to put out information that people can use, information that's valuable.
Right.
And honestly, if I was a news network, we wouldn't be going to those press conferences every day. I would ban them. I would ban my team from those press conferences.
Right.
So, but we talk about really everyday life issues, how to live your best life, to steal Oprah's words, and really just so, for example, on tomorrow's show, we have somebody coming on to talk about co-parenting during COVID. Like, that's something that, you know, a lot of us hadn't thought of. You know, what if the other parent isn't following the same procedures you are?
Right.
You know, how do you all negotiate that? As well as looking at, and in fact, as we were talking here, I just saw the approval come through from the second guest who's going to talk about loneliness through COVID, and how long are we supposed to be resilient? Like, it's cool to be resilient for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month.
Right.
How long we got to be resilient? You know? So, yeah.
That
So that,
resiliency is killing some people, but yeah, I know
it's like
exactly
a
what you're
lot.
talking about.
So, and even I mean, I hit a wall yesterday, and I'm like, come on, you know, this is a lot. And I've been doing this thing well, so I can't imagine what it's been like for people who are struggling. I do now have a co-host, Robert Pierce. And
Yes.
so it's really nice to have the male perspective on the show. And, you know, and interestingly enough, my biggest audience are men. Men 40 plus have definitely been my most vocal, visible audience. So it's really nice to have the male perspective on there. So I don't know if they wanted it or not, but he's now there, and he's awesome.
And I saw the show come from when you and Dr. Sony to yourself, and now you've added Robert. So it's
Yeah.
this great thing, but it's great that it's still going on, and I think it's a very necessary show. So I'm glad that it's still going on.
Well, you know, every now and then, just like with all of my businesses, I have a moment where I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm shutting it down. And then you know, so when it comes to the show and I have those thoughts, I think about the platform that I have and the opportunity I have to really, and everybody doesn't have a platform. So that's what keeps me going.
I will end with this question before we allow you to go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you. But do you ever try to put everything into a goal or an ultimate goal for yourself? I ask that question to a lot of people because there's all of us who work hard to try to get things out there, to do things, but is there an ultimate goal that you're trying to reach, or is it just you just like to be creative? Let me just stop right there. Is there an ultimate goal for you that you would like to reach?
It's funny because I have people, you know, these business-minded people who like to sit down with me and say, so what's your 5-year plan? And I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm trying to get through today. I don't know. If you don't have a 5-year plan, you're set up for failure,
Right.
You know. And so I'm not quite so rigid. But in terms of just ultimately speaking, I guess it's more about being able to use my strengths and what the tools that I have to bring to the table to enhance and empower people and to make the world, the little corner of the world that I have, a better place. I can sleep better at night knowing that I'm not wasting anything, that I'm not wasting what I have. So that's from an altruistic standpoint. I really passionately want to be able to serve. There's so many different entities that I want to touch. Like the fact that Black women are the number one post-maternal deaths after they have babies in Georgia. Like, that's ridiculous. And I'm talking number one in the world, over third world countries. Like, what? And so finding ways to be a part of that solution. We've been very active with helping Morris Brown College, trying to help Morris Brown College get on their feet. And we haven't really spoken a lot about that, but being, so being behind initiatives, one of the visions that I have is creating and I've had this for a long time, but creating tiny house communities for different populations, veteran populations, starving artists, but finding ways to serve people. And so now if I talk about materialistically for myself, to be able to have the resources within my home that I need, so that everything that I have is here, that I need is here. I don't have to leave. I've got a car that is reliable. I've got, so just to be able to have what it takes to be in peace, to live in peace. And so a lot of people want to give their business goals and their dreams and all of that, but there are some material stuff too. I would love to have, a nice new car. My goal is I'll try to do it when I can buy it cash, and that, to me, that's a goal. Like, I don't want to be in debt. I want to, pay off all the debt, and good Lord, That's peace.
That's peace. That's peace. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got one more
Sure.
non-serious question. I know you always are this and that. What music do you listen to?
Oh, that's funny. I don't think anybody would know it. Every time I say what I listen to, people are like, oh, looky. Now, I listen to everything. You know, you turn a station on, whether it's country, R&B, old school, whatever it is. I mean, Slick Rick, I know every word from beginning to end. LL Cool J, I Need Love. I love, you know, so I'm really good at that. But when I'm working and I really need to be productive, Inya is probably my favorite, like calming. It's
Yeah.
like this meditation. If you ever go get a massage, it's the kind of music you'll
Yeah.
hear when you go to get a massage. So that is often on. And when I go on my daily walks, that's usually what's in my ear, either Inya or gospel. But it just depends on my mood. If I'm ready to turn up, it'll probably be gospel. If I'm ready to just, whoo, then it's going to be Inya.
Wow, I like Indian. That's some good stuff. But I might do that, incorporate some Indian around while I'm working to see if that works a little bit more to make me more creative. I like that.
It works so well for me, especially if I don't want to hear human words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes I've heard too many. That's introverting me. Too many human words have gone. I hit my ears today. I need
Too many human words. That's funny. That's funny. The human word. Dr. Pam, I thank you for coming on, and thank you so much for doing this with me. Tell them where they can find you at. What's all the stuff, your social media, your websites. You got more websites than I can think of. So
What's funny is that just as you said that, my web guy just sent me a message saying, "What's up? I need the info." I'm like, I'm busy. No.
Right.
So I am on, this is probably the best way to reach me on Instagram. And, you know, my handle is Empowered Writer. And Facebook, I'm pretty active on that as well. Pamela Antoinette Larde, Larde. Those are probably the best two ways to reach me. Of course, I am on LinkedIn, Pamela Antoinette Larde there. The website, I'll just give you academyofcreativecoaching.com because the website that I currently have is so old. I designed it like 10 years ago. So it's kind of bootleg. So it's being redone now.
We're gonna leave that alone. But
if I got the info, I know it's so yeah.
Well, thank you. I know you're busy, like you say. People probably hitting you up and doing all that. We still, maybe one day I can, come on your show. I know it's different, but
Absolutely, yeah.
It's been a while it's been a couple of years since I've been on.
Yeah, we actually started talking sports yesterday, last Sunday, and correlating Phil Jackson as a leader and how he handled the team of the Bulls because we're watching. At least, I'm watching.
You did watch The Last Dance.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. So, and then some people hated it. I was shocked by the people who actually hated it. But anyway, and we were comparing that to the leader of the country, and it was just such a robust conversation.
It's a lot. That's a lot to take here, right?
Yeah. So we might bring you on to talk about something like that.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, thank you as always, Dr. Pam. Everybody, we thank y'all for joining us this Saturday. Great week. Great wrap up of my Women's Week. Y'all killed it.
All right. I love it.
Yeah. We'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye.